Are malls dead? A couple days ago, I was sitting down scrolling through TikTok and I found this video of a mall that I used to go to that apparently is shutting down. So I decided, let's go check out the mall. I'm gonna bring you guys along and let's see how this mall is looking. All right, guys, I just got here to the mall and I mean, they did just open, so the parking, of course, looks kind of empty, but I don't know, it's a weekend day. I do see people walking inside, so I don't know if it's actually gonna close down officially like they said it is. But we're gonna go check it out. We're gonna go see what it is. Vamos a ver cómo está. Acabo de llegar aquí. El parqueadero sí se ve medio vacío. Enseñarles. Me parqué más atrás. Se ve medio vacío. Así que vamos a entrar. Vamos a ver qué tal está todo allá adentro. And yeah, let's check it out. Como pueden ver, ya entramos a la tienda y efectivamente están cerrando casi todas las tiendas. All of the stores are pretty much shut down. Como la mitad de la mall ya está cerrada. So I think that's it for the store. I think it's done. It's definitely closing down. I just went to take some shots of the mall in there. And it's honestly, now that I think about it, it's not that big of a mall. Really not that big of a mall. I think the biggest stores are probably the department stores that are around, like Kohl's. And they had another furniture store, but it's not that big of a mall. I don't know if the department stores are gonna stay or not, but I doubt it. I doubt they will. At one point, malls were the busiest places in the area. Weekends were packed, the food court was full, and finding parking was almost a challenge. Now they almost feel abandoned. But I will say not all malls feel like that, but a lot of malls feel abandoned. And it's not just this mall, and across the country there are many malls that are disappearing. So what happened? Malls used to be more than just shopping. They were a place where you would go hang out with friends, walk around, shop, and even go on dates. But of course, with everything, the culture just started to change. Nowadays, people don't really like to go out as much, and why would they even bother going to a mall when they can literally shop from their phone? Literally, you don't have to go anywhere. So have we become more dependent on staying at home? I don't know. By the 90s, the malls had hit their peak. That's where everybody used to go and hang out.
Going to the mall in 1990 was an experience. Not just shopping, it was a social event, a destination, a place where teenagers spent entire weekend, where friendships were made and drama unfolded, where you spent your allowance money on CDs and clothing. The 1990s were the last decade when malls truly thrived.
But once the mid-90s came, everything became to change. The internet became mainstream, and companies like Amazon started to change the way people shopped. At first, of course, the change was small, but once the 2000s came, more and more people started to change the way they used the internet and the way they shopped. The internet became like this new phenomenon, so people were using the internet to shop more rather than go to the store. And at the same time, a lot of big department stores started to shut down. And once that happened, everything else started to follow. And it wasn't just shopping. Kids stopped hanging at the mall. They stopped going out as much. Instead, they were online, on their phones, at home. And little by little, the malls, they started to fade away. And the weirdest part is that this did not happen overnight. It just slowly started to disappear. One store closed, then another, and another, until one day, people just stopped coming. And now places like this are everywhere, still standing, but just waiting to be forgotten. Lincolnwood Town Center, it opened back in the 90s, right when malls were at its peak. And right now it's slowly disappearing. But now half of the stores are gone. And it didn't happen all at once. In 2018, one of its biggest anchors, Carson's, it shut down. And that was the beginning of the end. Because when big stores like that leave, they take the crowd with them. Other stores tried to replace them, but even those didn't last. One of their biggest replacements was the Room Place, and it closed down in 2025. And after years of empty stores and declining traffic, the entire mall has been sold. At one point, places like Lincolnwood Mall were worth tens of millions of dollars. And now it's sold for around 12 million. And soon it might not even be a mall anymore. They're planning to redevelop it and turn it into something completely different. Apartments, offices, something new. Because the truth is, malls, they're not just dying, but they're being replaced. And once it's gone, it's gone. The only thing left are the memories. But what could cause a mall like this close when it opened at its peak in the 90s? Well, something that came around the 90s was also the internet. And once the 2000s to 2010 hit, the internet hit a major peak, and that's also when mall traffic started to decline. So all that to say is the internet definitely was a culprit in causing a lot of these malls to shut down. But a lot of the malls that are shutting down are more of the outdated malls rather than the trendy and luxury level type of malls that are still running and see a lot of foot traffic. On the other hand, Lincolnwood Mall has been one of my childhood malls, and over the years there was always that roaming question of when is this mall gonna shut down? It always looked abandoned, it always looked empty, a lot of stores were always closed, and there was always a lot of vacancy there. So to think that now that huge space and that mall is not gonna be there, it honestly is kind of sad. But now we live in the era of the internet. Everybody has a phone at their fingertips. We can literally order anything we want here. We can shop, order food, literally anything you want to do, you can do it from this small device. So the internet, technology, phones, those definitely had an impact on how malls function now. But what could it be? Because it was once a prime location and a lot of people went there, why could it result in this mall shutting down and other malls are still thriving? There's another mall that's close by called Old Orchard in Skokie, and that one is thriving. But what is the difference? See, that one is more of an outdoor mall and it's a little bit more trendy and it targets a more luxury type of feel to it. And I feel like nowadays luxury is what attracts people and the outdoor vibe just gives it a whole different feeling. So indoor malls like Lincolnwood are just outdated. There's no official saying as to what the new owners of that whole land are planning to do, but they are planning on redeveloping. Now, will they include a mall? We don't know. But a lot of things point in the direction of probably changing it to apartments, offices, and maybe other small businesses around there. I guess we'll just have to find out. So that being said, let's see what happens. For now, I hope you guys enjoy this video. But let me know in the comments if you guys prefer to shop online or actually go to a physical store. I personally still like going to the mall because I just like to see the clothes, try it on, feel how it feels on me before having to go through the hassle of buying it and then returning it. But everybody has their own opinion. And I think the younger generation probably enjoys just buying online. It's a new era, it's a new chapter. We'll see what the future brings, because honestly, Lincolnwood Mall was one of those malls that I thought was gonna close sooner rather than later. There was many years where people already, how is this mall still open? But I guess now we have our answer. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little different type of video. See you guys in the next one.